What's good, Pembroke Army, and welcome back to another episode of Warzone Wamblings. It's your boy Daniel here, and I'm playing with Shane and Adam, or Lad Bros and Domi. We were missing Doggo again. The boys had a tough schedule. That's just the way it's been. But we are playing for the first time on the new Warzone map, Uzbekistan. Don't know if I've pronounced that right. Don't actually care to find out either. But we're here to talk about the year 2023 and what a testing year this has been for me, straight from the off-go. At the beginning of January, when I had my ARC copies of Diseased Intentions released to me. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this, but there was actually a postal hacking going on with the Royal Mail, and it was actually illegal, or I'm not sure if illegal is the right word there, but you weren't allowed to send any parcels abroad from the UK, and 3/4 of my ARC readers were abroad. So one thing I'm very grateful for is that my ARC readers managed to take my digital copy, what that I sent them via email, and read that. They did eventually get the physical copies later on. It was later, even after the release date for some of them. But I'm very, very grateful that they still managed to get their reviews out, even without the physical copy being in their hands. But this was to set the tone for the year itself of challenges we would face, because not long after that, and just before the release date of Diseased Intentions in early March, the hotel I was living at, a lot of you all know this, that I was living in staff accommodation, and the hotel itself had been shut down, had been finally bought. But the people who bought it gave us 2 days to move out, which in itself is highly scumbaggy. The offer that they gave me was that I work for their company 7 days a week, and I could get to stay in the staff accommodation. So with the options that was laid in front of us, we decided to give them the middle finger and start the new life in our new flat. And I've also got to laugh about something else as well, because any of you who follow me on Instagram will know that during the moving process, I finally spoke up about the hotel itself and what they actually put me through, not just with this itself, this incident of how we had to move out, but of how they pushed me to the limit when it came to reopening the hotel in 2021 after COVID, because that was the release, or during the release, of The Taste Beneath. And I made a video about it, and I spoke about the highly illegal and just abysmal reopening of the hotel after COVID, and how I was illegally worked and pushed to the point of where I had to start going to see a therapist again and take time off because I had burnout. But when it comes to the release of this video, a lot of the ex-management at the hotel were in my Instagram stories, and they didn't dare speak or put a comment on the video, because what I said there is 100% truth. And instead of putting something or messaging me directly, I still to this day have no one taking accountability for what happened. If anything, it was they were more shocked and confused that I finally spoke up about what happened, and still to this day no one has admitted or apologized for what happened to that. And that was in March, and that would slowly roll over for the rest of the year. Now, moving into the new flat itself has been great. I've been having a lot of fun, and of course I've finished Insidious Valor here, and I've also started doing YouTube like you're listening now. And at the beginning it was quite tough just to do one video every 2 weeks, but now with this format, this kind of podcast format, I can do one of these videos 1 week and then back to the camera videos the next week. But this is another leg of social media that isn't making any sense to me, because number one, I'm more active on Instagram, as a lot of you know, and Instagram has gone ass backwards this year. I took a break away from it for English with Daniel. I took a break away from it for a week because I was getting a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, including one of my beta readers for Insidious Valor, who changed their 5-star review of Diseased Intentions to a 1-star review because I refused to send them nudes. And yeah, that is a thing. That is one of the reasons I cracked that night. For any of you who follow me on Instagram, that was one of the 5 things in the space of about 45 minutes from people who were supposed to be my supporters, or people who wanted to be a part of my journey, that were actually just trying to use me for whatever reason. And I said at the beginning of the year that a lot of stuff was set up to try and break me down, but I have smiled and laughed all the way through it, just like we have just smiled and laughed through this Warzone victory for you. That was our first ever game on Zikistan, by the way, and yeah, we got our first win, a few kills each, and the last guy we come up against was trying to hide underground and try and gas mask us, so we'd die to the gas before he did. But we got through that and we got the win, and I've had multiple wins this year as well, even leaving the job that I was at the golf club. That's not something I've not announced on social media. It wasn't long after I took my break, but yeah, that was another thing behind the scenes, just of sheer jealousy, and I was being targeted for doing something better than anyone else ever had. And for any of you who remember, I did post in August. I was asked to do a function, a wine and dine, to pair the wines with the food, and the reception from that was brilliant. And ever since then, the jealousy from the senior staff was outrageous. So yes, I did walk out and I did give them the middle finger. And yes, it's very unprofessional, but at the end of the day, I don't care. If you don't respect me enough to make me want to give you a notice, I'm not going to. So that's what I did, and I found another job that pays better, is much closer, and I've still got the time to do what I'm doing now. But through all of these trials and tribulations, I am truly grateful to everyone who has been behind my back this year, whether it's regarding my books, the reviews, on Instagram, generally supporting me, or even here on YouTube. I've made 50 subscribers. I'm not sure how that's possible, and I know these Warzone videos don't do very well. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone who has been a part of this journey and watched me fight back from everything that's happened so far. I've made a lot of new friends in the author world, and I've managed to hold on to some great ones as well. And it's almost sort of bittersweet knowing the amount of people that I've lost this year. But at the end of the day, if you pushed me far enough to give you the middle finger, then that is on you. Because I'm a person that is just trying to move on and do the best I can with my life. And I'm happy that I've still got the people around me that want to be a part of this. Because at the end of the day, if I'm not talking to you now, or you don't like the fact that I've stood up for myself, or it offends you that I'm doing better, great. Because I'm not someone who goes out my way to make things bad for people. So if my success, and when I say success, when it comes to 2024, I'm not expecting my books to be the next, George R.R. Martin or the new Tolkien, Stephen King. I'm not expecting my books to do that. I'm not expecting my YouTube to become the next Sidemen. What I'm expecting next year is the next level from me. And when I made that post on Instagram that when I return, I'm going to make you fucking hate me, I was not lying, because I've already had DMs from the people who blocked me to ask me why am I still around. And it's just a case of I'm around because I know it pisses you off, and actually my writing series is helping some aspiring writers out there. Even if it's not many, it's still some. It's still more than other people are doing. And my Beyond Fiction playlist is entertaining people. It seems to get a lot more views, so I'm primarily going to do those. But next year coming round, I've got a new series coming in called How I Would Write. And before I get to that, our second match, we got 4th place there. So on our first 2 matches, we've got a win. And we've also got a 4th place. A couple of decent sniper shots there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting more content out next year. Especially the How I Would Write series. And some better gaming footage with maybe a face cam. But I've spoken about that before. But thank you all for listening. This has been me, your boy, Pembroke Zone. And as always, much love, take care, and peace.